All right, 2C. Here's our favorite kind of questions. Is a solution neutral, acidic, or basic at the equivalence point? So to answer this question, you have to consider what you're working with. We're starting off with a weak acid with a low pH, like we said, probably around 2. And as we start to titrate with the NaOH, the pH will become more basic, and at some point it's going to pass through what's called the equivalence point, where the amount of NaOH and hydrofluoric acid are equal when it comes to number of moles. And that's called the equivalence point because they're equal. What this question wants to know is, at the equivalence point, we know that the mole-to-mole ratio is equal, but what is the pH? Is it acidic, neutral, or basic? Now, because we're titrating a weak acid with a strong base, at the equivalence point, the strong base is going to win out, and it's going to mean that the pH is closer to the basic side rather than neutral, which is what we see with a strong acid and a strong base. At the equivalence point with a strong acid, strong base, it's neutral. If it's a weak base being titrated with a strong acid, it is acidic at the equivalence point, and if it's a weak acid titrated with a strong base, it is basic. So the one that's stronger is going to win out at the equivalence point. Now the next problem is going to be calculating the actual equivalence point volume so that we can see if the pH is indeed basic or not.